All right, everybody. Thank you for all showing up for my live. A lot of people were asking about me. I'm going to kind of have to switch between two screens, so if you see me looking both ways, I apologize. But it was very interesting. You guys all asked me to be more live, so I'm going to go live. This is Marcella Hazen, was a very famous. She would be like our Julia Childs from Italy. And she was the first one that interpreted from Italian to American. So she was the first one that brought an American-Italian book really to the United States. This has been passed down from her. So she died, I think, like 5-6 years ago. Very famous woman. And so this recipe's been around for a while. Believe me, I have toiled and worked my butt off for 2 days making Italian sauces, letting it sit, letting it just go through the whole day. So it actually made my time of working very hard or making it fun to cook. When I learned this, I have never used another red sauce recipe again.
Marcella Hazen is the best.
She is. Oh, who said that? So you know who she is. A lot of people, I didn't know who she was for years, and I've cooked Italian food for 30 years, but I just learned about her about 5-6 years ago. So thank you. I'm glad that she is. Anyways, with her, this red sauce is literally done in 45 minutes. You do need the 45 minutes for it, but it is so simple, and it's literally 3 ingredients, and we're going to put it together that fast. So all you do is you use, you can have a 28-ounce can of red tomatoes. You want it to be either a puree, you can use whole tomatoes and kind of dice them down a little bit. You do not want tomato sauce, so we want the whole tomato in there. This is where I would spend just a teeny bit more money on the better brands. There is a little bit of a difference. San Marzano has a really rich tomato. I would try to find an Italian tomato in the cans, but 28-ounce can is what will make for 4 people. I have another, I will show you what I get, and I get this on Amazon. This, it's called 6-in-1. This is the brand I really like. It's a kind of a mixture of different tomatoes, all from Italy. Really rich. This is about 2 of my recipes, so you would double the recipe that I'm going to share with you that's kind of known through her. But we use that sauce that much, especially if I'm cooking lasagna or things like that. One of these would not be enough for our family, so I always just get a big can of this. And they're very hard to find, and it's way cheaper on Amazon. So they're called 6-in-1. So just to let you know. But any can, just make sure it's not tomato sauce. I know I repeated that, but it's really important that this is more of a tomato puree. So this would be equal to 28 ounces can of a tomato puree. I'm gonna just touch base. You use 5 tablespoons of butter. It makes it so rich, this sauce, it's crazy good. But I will tell you, Kerrygold is Irish butter that is by far probably one of the best butters I've ever used, and we don't use any other kind of butter anymore. But if you can, try to find Kerrygold, or just make sure you have a really good butter. I would not substitute my butters, with the margarines or anything like that. You really want a hearty butter. And do not do unsalted. We really need some fat in there, and because what's going to happen, and I'll show you in just a few minutes, it's almost creating like this really, almost like a foamy delicacy-ness to the tomatoes. So just a little hint, I do like the Kerrygold for sure. So in here, what you're going to literally do is put 5 tablespoons of butter. And I know it seems like a lot, but honestly, you guys, this is just 3 ingredients, and it's just beyond crazy good. So I did 5 tablespoons of butter in there. Then you take a white onion. I have used red, I've used yellow, just because it's been in my pantry. The recipe calls for that. I actually like red tomatoes, to be honest. I'm going to the recipe. So you literally cut it in half. Make sure you got your hole, that your part is in there. Aw, Beth, hi Beth. So you take, we're leaving it whole in here. So make sure you've got your ends, and all you're gonna do is peel off that very top layer of it, just like that. And you're gonna throw away that part. Oop, got a little more in there. And you're gonna throw the whole half into your pot. You're gonna do this for your whole entire onion. So you just come to your next one, peel off that very top layer. There is probably one of the biggest debates online whether people eat this onion when it's over with or when it's not. She does tell you to pull it out back in her recipe days. But I actually reuse the onion a little bit because it's so rich actually being cooked into. So, and then you're gonna use about a teaspoon of salt. You could probably be a hair less, but it's really important with tomatoes, as always, no matter what tomatoes I use, that you have salt. Salt always enriches tomatoes. So probably about a teaspoon of salt goes in here. That's it. Then we go over and we start simmering this for 45 minutes. And I'm going to just show you though, because we're not ready to have it for finishing cooking. This is I'm about a half hour into this. You can see that it's starting to get really thick and on top. Let it keep cooking because this is a half hour in, and let it cook for the rest of the whole 45 minutes. There is a slight difference of the taste. I have tasted it like at a half hour, and then I've tasted it at 45 minutes. There is a slight difference, and it's like what the butter's doing in there in the sauce. So please let it go the 45 minutes. So I'm actually taking you through what I would do for a complete dinner, how I would start my dinner and finish and get it to the table. So I've got a few things in here that we're gonna go through. I'm gonna do chicken with my pasta tonight. So what I did is I actually have tenderloins. Again, you know, if I do breast, I always slice them to about this tenderloin size just because I really like the way this size works. It's just something I do. And I thought, because other things that I'm gonna be adding, I did just a light sprinkling of lemon pepper, a little bit of salt, and I'm a big fan of Braise and Bake, so I would turn on my skillet, the same skillet that I am going to bring to the table. I just can't turn my back to you guys, but I would braise this 1 minute on each side in a really hot pan and just get it started to cook. So hope all that makes sense. I'm not going too fast, but I wanted to show you though, I did prep up mine prior, that I had braised and baked my chicken. So you're just getting to where your outside is just real nice, firm and crunchy, and we will be finishing in the skillet. So what would happen, because right now it's not hot, I would have braised all my chicken in here and set it onto a sheet just like this. So I would have cooked in here, put it on a sheet for me to go back into this pan into the oven. So this is exactly my setup of doing this. This took me, I did time it. For me to do 3 pounds of chicken, it took me 6 minutes. So that's how quick all this will be going for you. So once you get your sauce started, you're not gonna worry about it for 45 minutes. And at that time, I would start just seasoning my chicken up. Just so you know too, if you're a vegan or you wanna do this recipe that's gonna be following this, go ahead and use fish. The same thing would taste fabulous with fish. I'd probably go to like a real soft white fish or something like that, but adjust your recipe to this. I mean, it doesn't always have to be chicken, but you know, please go ahead and try all your fishes and everything with this too, because we're gonna be adding a really good olive and lemon sauce to this chicken. I'm gonna throw this in here because I think this is the first time I've been so impressed by a pan. And believe me, I love my Le Creuset, but I'm gonna show this to you guys because I've never seen anything like it. There is at World Market, it's called the Green Pan. And this is 11 inch and I just spent $30 on it. That was all. I do, everybody knows I love my grill marks, which you will not get in this pan, but I've also done the chicken straight into this pan. It's just whether you like the grill marks or not. It's just a preference, sometimes how I feel like wanting the grill marks or not. This pan is as beautiful as the moment I bought it. And I seared up all my chicken. I didn't wash this yet. I wanted to show you guys. I literally took a paper towel. So I'm kind of sold on this. I just wanted to throw that out there. Not selling the pan or anything like that, but I know that makes my life easier. And this pan, if you wanted to, you could take your chicken, put it back into this pan, and it will cook to 350, which is what we're gonna be doing in there. So these are probably my two main pans that I will go in, cook in each one of these, and then put them back as is into the oven. So I'm all on one pan. I would bring this onto the table just like this, or bring the table out like this.
Janet, what's the pan's name again?
It's called Green Pan. And I just got this at World Market, and I even had a $10 off coupon. It was 30 bucks. And I thought I'd try it because I go through quite a bit of grill pans. And I am telling you, I do know how to clean them. It's just a pain. And literally, I took a paper towel and I did not even wash this yet. And that was after all my chicken. So I'll keep you informed as I keep working with this pan, but I know a lot of people ask me what pans I use, and I was just floored by this guy today. So just wanted to throw that out there. Today I'm actually gonna put, and like I said, the same thing can be done in that green pan that I'm doing in my Le Creuset. So again, it's whether you want if I was doing fish, I probably wouldn't, I do fish on there, why not? I mean, it's just whether you want the grill marks or not. So what I did, as I pulled out all my chicken from the pan, I am literally going to put all my chicken back into the pan. And at this time, I would be turning on my oven to 350 because I'm going to be doing just a few more things. And I would definitely get my water started to be boiled for my pasta. I know I shared I was going to make homemade pasta. There's so much information I would need to give you on that. On how I make homemade pasta, which is quicker than how long it'll take me to cook the boxed pasta. I will do the boxed pasta, believe me, I always keep some in the pantry just in case, but I always make homemade pasta, and that's when I would be starting my homemade pasta at this time, if I do that. So I apologize, it was gonna take up too much time of everything that I'm gonna be showing you. So get your pasta water going at this point, because that'll take probably about 10 minutes. So we'll prepare the chicken at this time. So I am going to dump all my chicken and the juices into my pan. I am a huge fan of family style. I love it. I always serve my table that way. I feel people can choose what they want. And I love to my centerpieces of all my table is always my food groups. And I just bring out these pans. So I'll have my salad, my chicken, and my pasta, and that would already be laid out. I did want to show you though, and I have this one set up. This is what, even for dinners, not just because guests are coming, and sometimes, especially if I'm planning a meal, this is truly what I do. I have my ramekins. I always know what platters I'm using for what I'm cooking, so I have my menu in my head like I knew I was making pasta. So this is going to be my pasta plate. And I take those little sticky notes and I write pasta. It just helps me. I know I'm going to top it with Parmesan. I'll pull that out. I'm going to have some basil with this. And I line that up on my counter, all my platters that I'm using, and I have it labeled. I knew I was out because I had put all my ingredients on each of my platters. I was out of a couple things, so I had to run to the grocery store. So it helps you kind of get your grocery list going. But I do that for almost all my dinners. It's just one of those things that I love to know what my platters are going to be, and I know what materials I might be missing. So, have my chicken. This was given to me by Michael, a French cookbook, and we were perusing through it, and we found the most beautiful olive and lemon. I did do this for my charcuterie board actually when I made it. So what I'm going to tell you, I'm putting it on chicken because it was so fabulous. This on fish would be fabulous. But you can do this recipe literally on a small pan, slow roast it for 10 minutes, and I would use that on my charcuterie board with the cheese or something. That the flavors are just amazing, and it's so simple, but it's so fabulous. I also, what I would do, I used green Italian olives, just ones we like, but honestly, because I'm making a salad with black olives and I only needed about half of this can, I'm actually going to add black olives to this. We love olives, so I'm going to mix the two of them together. What the recipe calls for is, it calls for a lemon. Again, this is where you have to take your world and I love, a lot of people here, we love olives. So I'm kind of doubling this up in here just because I know we love that. So the recipe calls for 1 lemon. I will be putting 2 lemons in here. When I did the recipe with the 1 lemon, and I think it called, and I will have all this on the website for you, it was not enough. I mean, honestly, I could have eaten the whole little thing of dish of the olives all by, and I kind of did because they were so good. So I would be doubling up the recipe. So I'm going to add just a little bit more lemons in here, and as everybody knows, I'm a huge fan of lemons, so I'm going to be putting that on here. So what you're going to do is lay on top of all this chicken lemons. And like I said, I adapted this from it's supposed to be a little side, but I think it's going to taste absolutely fabulous with the chicken, because I ended up having chicken that night anyways, and I'm like, ooh, if I might as well just cook the two together. It's called slow roasted olives and lemons. So what we're going to do is put all my olives in here. It even looks pretty. And I'm going to throw in some black just because it's what I had too. So I think it'll be fun to mix the two together. So far.
It looks good on camera.
Huh?
It looks good on camera.
Oh, can you see? Okay. So what you need though is now we're just going to be drizzling olive oil on top of all this. And I hear my water boiling. So what I'm actually going to do before I finish this, because I want to tell you just a couple more things on this, and this takes 12 minutes, and I didn't want you guys to have to be with me that long, even though I would love to have you all with me. So it calls for 1 pound. They say 1 pound of pasta works for this 28-ounce can. I don't agree with that. I like a lot of red sauce on my pasta. So kind of just see how you do with it. You know, again, I usually tend to find I always had to double up my red sauce recipe just because we always like red sauce. But the recipe itself said 1 pound of pasta would be plenty for the 28-ounce can of, and I just lost my, there it is. For the 28-ounce can of tomatoes that you're using on your red sauce.
Hello, dear, from Arugula Sanchez.
Oh, is she there?
She says hello, dear.
Oh, hello, dear. So we've got some olive oil. So this recipe, just with the lemons and olives that I'm doing now, is the recipe just if you're going to slow roast your olives. So just keep that in mind. All I'm doing is I'm topping this on my braised chicken. So I've got my lemons, olives, a little bit of olive oil, and then you're going to put about 3 sprigs of thyme. You're just going to lay it because you want the aromatics of it, so I just broke it up a little, and we're going to lay it right on top of all that. That is your dinner, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to bake this for about 15 more minutes. So that's what we have so far. And like I said, I would be bringing this out to the table as is. The same pan that I showed you earlier, the green pan, all this can be done all in there. So I would be now at this point, 15 minutes later, getting my chicken going. So, does anybody have any questions? So I know I feel like I'm talking really fast tonight, but I feel like I have a lot going on. Is everybody good so far? Is everybody thumbs up? Okay. All right. So what I'm doing next And all of this I would prepare all the way up until, if I had guests coming over, everything would be done, and I would not put my pan of chicken in. I would clean up my mess, put my pan of, or leave my, braise my chicken, get it on the pan with all the olives and everything, and I'd leave that sit until my guest arrived, or about 15 minutes right before I was going to eat. So everything would be cleaned up, done, until I got to my chicken 15 minutes right before dinner.
What's the name of the green olives?
They're the Italian, actually I have it in there, Michael, the big jar. I'm a Costco shopper, so it's going to be a jar like this. But I did the Italian green, what are they called? The color. Nope, not those ones right next to it. We did the Marcella's. Yeah. These are the ones Castelvetrano. Maybe an Italian person will correct me, but I always get a big jar of these at Costco. But I have seen them, like a lot of, like even the Kroger's and grocery stores have those olive bars. If you want to go ahead and mix, like I threw black olives in there. I just like these Italian green ones. They're just probably one of more of my favorites, but to mix them with the black and everything, or I've even seen, and actually, you know, it just came to my mind, if you added feta cheese on top of that whole dish when that came out, would be really good. Because I've seen the olive mixtures where they actually have the fetas in there. But grow your recipes. I think that's where a lot of my recipes keep growing from each other. So I don't always have to feel like this is my recipe, this is the way it's got to be done. If I didn't have green olives, I'd go get my black olives. You know, don't get caught up in the exact science of everything has to be as is. Just like I said, if I have, temperature of the chicken oven is 350. I will almost cook everything I have at 350 because of my pans. And again, I braise and bake a lot, and I use the same pan. I don't go putting it into another pan. I don't want to clean up another pan, and I always like to serve it in that pan. So more times than not, your pans that I use will let you cook up until about 350. So I just, in my head, and I'm always safe about it, and I don't worry about 375, 350. So by the time I've always braised my chicken, and because I'm using smaller tenderloins, 15 minutes, you're really good with that. Because you've already started the cooking process, you're just now just finishing it. And that's how you get the juicier chicken. I'm a huge, for juicy chicken, braise and bake is probably about the only way I go. So any of my pans will work for that. So now I'm just gonna go into an Italian salad that I would do. So I've already washed my romaine lettuce. And again, use anything you want. I like to chop up my salads a little bit. I don't like big chunks. I think sometimes when I feel like I'm at the table and I'm trying to chew on a big piece of lettuce, it's not the most attractive thing to do. So I will always kind of just dice up my lettuces, anything that I'm using, spinach, but you know, adding arugula in here would be really cool. I just was in a mood for a fresh romaine lettuce. And again, what I will do, like I said with guests, I will already have washed this like I did, cut it up, and got it back in the refrigerator so it's nice and cold, because I really like my romaine to be cold when it comes to the table. So I'm not making the salad right before guests are here or anything like that. So all this prep work is done that day, way before people get here. So I'm gonna do, that would probably be good for 4. I would probably need a little bit more. I'm actually gonna go one more because I have more than 4 people I'm feeding tonight, but 2 romaine, and these weren't huge romaines, but go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna do that, and I've got those in there. What I'm gonna add in here are my black olives. So I probably have about a half a cup of black olives in there. This might be reminiscent a little bit of, a lot of people love the Olive Garden salad. So this is kind of on that family of the Olive Garden salad. So again, I've got the pepperoncinis, and I don't know if I've got the jar. So I'm just gonna put several of those in here. And it's very funny, when I cook Italian, I rarely make a huge charcuterie board. I'll show you the jar if you guys wanna know. Again, oh, same brand. And again, I get these at Costco and they put these on sandwiches and everything else that's here. But these are very sweet, they're not hot. So they're very sweet pepper. So I would lay my peppers on top of that. But anyways, what I was saying was, I don't like to fill up people on a charcuterie board if I know I'm gonna have somewhat of a heavier meal. I think Italian food just tends to get a little heavier, especially with the pasta, and people are eating a little lighter. And especially if I'm gonna have bread, I would probably throw an Italian loaf of bread out with this dinner also. So, and the reason why I'm saying that, what I would do is if you wanted to, I would just, a lot of people like a few appetizer, you know, or like a little bit of a charcuterie. I would probably just put out a real gentle soft cheese with my wine and then probably some nuts. I probably would not go into a full-blown charcuterie board when I cook Italian. So I have my olives, my peppers. I'm gonna add probably, I already grated up my cheese, probably about a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. And that will be for my, my salad. And we will add, I just took some grape tomatoes and added that. So I'm probably a little bit more on a cup, probably about a pint. I think I almost used the whole pint of tomatoes on there when I did that. And then some red onions with that. I have a few people that don't love red onions. You can also do your red onions in slices so they can pull that out if you know, especially some people don't like red onions. But sometimes if you dice it up, it tends to be not as potent, and I love red onions. So there is my salad, but I am going to show you a very, very easy salad dressing to make for on top of that. Because I know I have just probably a few more minutes on my pasta to go, so probably by the time I get done with this and chit-chatting, so it's about a half a cup of olive oil would go in there. And this is so good. It's just fresh and light. And I also, and I think I'm actually going to do a whole thing on this. I'm a really big fan of flavored olive oils. I did not add lemon into this one just because I'm going to zest lemon on top, but I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons of red vinegar in here. I am going to have about a teaspoon, ooh, that was a hefty, about a teaspoon of oregano. We are going to do about a half a teaspoon of dried basil. I do not add fresh at this point. I know everybody knows I love to add fresh basil. About a teaspoon of basil in there. And garlic powder. So about a teaspoon of garlic powder will go in the jar. It's basically even proportions, and you can taste it up a little bit, you know, whatever your liking is. And then I would say just maybe a half a teaspoon of salt. You don't need much salt with this because you got your garlic powder and everything like that. And then you just shake this away. And it is so fresh. It's so light. But I also don't so prior, if I was having guests over, this is where I would put saran wrap on and get this into the refrigerator. This would be sitting next to it so that I know when the guests come that these are the 2 things I'm pulling for my dinner. And I would not dress my salad until I'm walking out to serve my guest. I do like, though, to dress just a teeny bit on my salad. The flavors tend to just marry like especially like your toppings. Basically, that's all I'm doing. I'm marrying my toppings a little bit to my dressing and not getting down into my salad, if that kind of makes a little bit of sense. So I would just put enough. This would come out to the table with me next to the salad for people to add more if they want, salad dressing. So that would be all ready for dinner. So what I had done prior, just because, yeah, I was trying to get you guys not have to be with me for 45 minutes, even though I'd love to be with you guys for 45 minutes. Didn't want to bore you. I had already started cooking my other one that was here for 45 minutes. So I'm right at my 45 minutes, or actually a little longer. So I'm just going to turn that down. Now I do, and I don't know if you guys can see this. I am gonna try to have you guys see this. Oh, that salad shaker, you know where I got that? Oh my God, I bought it years ago. Michael's had them. They're just mason jars, and then this is like a lid. I bet you could find it on Amazon. And it's just a lid. It comes blue. I blue, depending on what my table colors are going to be. I thought it was going to be pretty with the red. But yeah, Michael's, it's just a mason jar. And then you can actually, if you want to make more, which is nice, I take this little tip part out and I just use the regular mason jar lid and keep it in there. And you can actually have your salad dressing for a whole week in there if you want. And then just pull this out when you want to stir. So I have a bunch of these. Yeah, Michael's. All right, I'm gonna try to get this as close. Does that show to you guys? There is a very thin, the butter almost, I don't want to say it caramelizes, but the butter reacts with the tomatoes, so there's this very fine, beautiful coating on top. That is how you know you are the full 45 minutes. And it does smell different at 45 minutes than it does smell at a half hour. So you do need, I know I've said that before, but you do need that full 45 minutes on this. I'm just gonna pull my garbage bowl out here for a minute. I really don't want to be a garbage bowl. I want it to be, because I will be reusing my red onions. If you want, and again, I laugh over the debate over this, if you want to serve your pasta with the onions, by all means go to. If you want to probably dice up your tomato or your onion and keep it in here, but I don't know if I would do that. The only reason why this becomes such a thick, gorgeous red sauce, I don't want it mucked up with onions in it. So the onions make the sauce really sweet. They also have debated putting a teaspoon of sugar in here, because I used to do that when I did make my red sauces. I always added a little bit of sugar to my red sauce. That onion sweetens this up, so I have never yet had to feel like I needed to add sugar into this red sauce. So I leave it as is, and I just love it that way. I will take, and I just gotta pull my pasta out here for a second. I do blend my pasta with my red sauce. So I leave it right in the pan. This is pretty thick as is. I don't know, you know, it moves, but it's a very nice thick consistency. And again, just make sure you're not buying tomato sauce with your can. It is a puree tomato. It is, you can do whole tomatoes and kind of just zhuzh them up. I have taken beautiful tomatoes from my garden and just threw it in here with it, and it's really good. So like, if I had all those grape tomatoes that I have, oh, I can't see them, because I was adding grape tomatoes in here, I would add some grape tomatoes in with, if I bought a can of puree or something and throw some beautiful grape tomatoes in here, it'd be absolutely fabulous. And I do that quite a bit if I have extra tomatoes. Now, I am gonna just take my pasta. Sorry, I'm really opposite of what I normally do. But again, I don't drain my pasta. I make sure I have the starches from my water in here. Now I had set out a platter here for my pasta to go on to show you guys. Honestly, I would be serving it at the table in my Le Creuset. It's family style, it's just the way I like to do it. If I can have less pans, I will absolutely do it. So I'm gonna show you the true recipe of this one. I'm pulling a little bit more pasta out here. This is 1 pound of pasta to her 28 ounces. To her 28 ounces of sauce. So you can see the consistency of what it is. This red sauce, like I said, I usually buy the big cans. You can get a little expensive, those 6-in-1s, because it's probably more your highest end of tomatoes that are shipped in from Italy. But I would, if I had had made one and I used so much for my pasta that night, I would absolutely freeze the other part and pull it out if I needed to, or if I knew in a few days I was going to cook something else. This is a fabulous sauce for Parmesan crusted chicken, veal Parmesan. I use this red sauce for really, literally everything. So I actually do it for my lasagna now. If you want to add meat to this is how I would add meat to this sauce, because it's what I kind of do with my lasagna now. If you've made some beautiful meatballs, let's say you're just doing like a meat and pasta night, I would have beautiful meatballs in here. And I'll tell you a little secret, I've also bought frozen Italian meatballs at the grocery store. They come in a packet, they're actually pretty good. If I didn't have time to do my own homemade meatballs, but I would actually put that, you could either put this on here or have it lay on top of my platter when I was all done having some beautiful meatballs on here if you kind of wanted more of a meat texture, if you guys got, you want that meat bit pasta. So this, and it hasn't really had time to completely settle because the pasta is kind of pulling up my sauce right now. But this is about how much sauce to 1 pound of pasta. So it works really well, but I just always use my red sauce. As long as I'm cooking it, I just tend to do that. But just make sure you double up your whole recipe. But, well, I'm actually gonna, do you want me to put it in a pot? I'm gonna put it on here for you guys to show it prettier. That's hot, so hang in there with me for 1 second. Because my chicken should just be about done. So again, like I told you guys, I really love to cook everything in my pots and bring out, but I'm going to be showing you a version here of all these 3. I always buy 3 just for my own when I decorate tables, when I do everything. I always buy 3 platters because I tend to have 3 meals. I may not use them at all times, but I always have very similar, whether they're flat or I like them square, whatever your mood in. But I always have 3 platters so that I can bring things out that way if it's not in my white pans. So this should be fun. All right, it'll give me one little guy. We'll leave him. So I'm gonna grab mine. So they say 4 to 6 people eat off of that. So I really wanted to hold true to the recipe and show you guys exactly where it's at, and then you guys can make your adjustments to that. If you want to half this, it's so easy. I mean, honestly, you just buy a smaller can of puree if it's just 2 of you, and just buy a 14, I think it's like 13 ounces. Add your 2.5 tablespoons of butter and just throw in half of an onion. This is super simple for 2 people or even 1 to do. So I had already grated my Parmesan, so I'm adding that. My basil's doing beautiful in the yard. So I would, probably in the corner, add a beautiful floret of that. I diced up some basil previous, and I would come We still have our chicken in there, which is done, so I'm gonna bring that out. But my pasta would be done. My salad. And let me pull out my chicken. Sure, that's a lovely look seeing me from behind, guys. Sorry, but I'm trying to avoid that. And I need to get a hot plate under here. Oh my God, this smells so amazing. The thyme is just so aromatic. It's absolutely beautiful. So, all you do is pull out your thyme leaves, just like that. And you are done with your chicken and olives. So there's nothing more you need to do with, ooh. Sorry I can't tilt. I know Michael, we'll take some pictures of this so we can post it with it. So that would be my Italian dinner. If you want, you can always take some fresh, which I always am a firm believer in, lemon zest. So, but even though you have your lemons, what was interesting to me when we did this with the lemons and olives and made it for our charcuterie, Michael was eating the lemons. The people, you can eat the lemons if you want, or you're flavoring it. And the olives, and just make sure they're pitted when you buy your olives. Be one little, but I would probably zest just a teeny bit of lemon zest on top of all that. And that would be done. So there's our dinner, our Italian dinner. If you guys have questions, like I said, I will come back to all of you to make sure that I answer everything. I don't know if Michael caught anything else, or if you guys have any, you can holler out right now. But I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know how you feel about the lives. We'll be posting, if you want to see some of the other videos that I was just posting, just go to IGTV on Instagram. I know I do post some on Facebook, but mainly I'm on IGTV on Instagram. So I am so grateful for you guys. It just means a lot that you want to tune in, that you want to hear. I've been getting tons more messages from you guys. It's so fun. I was getting somebody who was running to Costco, Alan. I don't know if he's on. Alan, there he is. I see your glasses. That made my day. It made my day that he asked me a question about something and I was able to answer it. So I feel like I'm doing something that is, I don't know how to say it, but I'm very grateful for you guys. I'm grateful, I'm gonna cry, that you appreciate me. And so enjoy the dinner. Alan, come on over and have some dinner if you want. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.